Blog Talk Radio.
In the councils of government, we must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex.
In Dallas, Texas, 3 shots were fired at President Kennedy's motorcade in downtown Dallas. The first reports say that President Kennedy has been seriously wounded by this shooting.
It is a big idea, a new world order.
It was almost as if it were a planned implosion. It just pancaked.
Either you are with us or you are with the terrorists.
But I also believe that a lot of gun owners would agree that AK-47s belong in the hands of soldiers, not in the hands of criminals.
From the Rogue Nation, Eternal Militia. It is an open letter to the New World Order. You have had control for so many years, played your war games, making money off both sides of the wars, robbing the common citizens of this nation every way we turn, our gas, our food, our utilities, our toys, etc. But the internet has turned out to be your own worst enemy. We know you now. Patriots like myself have researched and found out who you are, where you work, where you eat, where you live, where you play. We watch you every day. We are the guy sitting in the car across the street. We are that new guy who just joined your church or came to work for one of your companies. We live for the day when you will be dealt the same level of evil and cruelty you have been dealing all of humanity. You may know everything about us too, but we don't care. I pray that you try to round me up for one of your FEMA death camps. For you would rather tickle a tiger's ass inside a phone booth than try to take me alive. We fear you not. We may wait on you to make your first move to try to take our liberties, or we may go ahead and strike first and remove you from the face of the earth. All your money and power will not protect you from our vengeance, which we will have very, very soon. You forget there is strength in numbers. You forget there are still American patriots by the millions who will never submit to you or be your slaves. You forget about the 200 million firearms on the streets of America. All you New World Order thugs combined, Blackwater, the brainwashed military, the thug jackbooted cops, FEMA stormtroopers, United Nations peacekeepers, cannot even come close to defeating us. You will make your last and stupid mistake when you declare martial law and try to round us up. But we will fight to the death and take you with us. You should never sleep easy, for you never know when you may wake up in the middle of the night with a Colombian necktie and us standing over you, laughing, while you take your last breath, and when we the people take this nation back from your evil grip. We will hunt you to the ends of the earth and shoot you down like mangy dogs. Sweet dreams, motherfuckers. That communication came in from a sniper. I suggest you think about what the fuck you're doing to our goddamn country. Now, a message from the Sons of Liberty concerning the New World Order. You're fucked.
When the operation of the machine becomes so obvious, makes you so sick at heart that you can't take part. You can't even passively take part. And you've got to put your bodies upon the gears and upon the wheels, upon the levers, upon all the apparatus, and you've got to make it stop. And you've got to indicate to the people who run it, to the people who own it, that unless you're free, the machine will be preventing no more anymore.
All right, everybody. Hopefully you can hear me okay.
here on Blog Talk Radio. I don't know. Can everyone hear me? Somebody press 1. All right, there you go. Let's see. We'll connect this person right now. You can hear me okay? 330, can you hear me okay?
Yep, you're good.
Okay, good. I just wanted to make sure because last time it didn't work, so that's good. All right, I might as well connect you anyway, so I was here first. Usually my first caller anyway, so that's good. I got to listen to this crap. This is what's happened to me over the past few days, actually. My son, this happened about 7-8 years ago, actually, my other son. Well, anyway, my son, I have 2 children, 2 sons, and one's 14, the other one's 8, and they were wrestling. And you know how they 2 brothers, what they do, they're wrestling, horse playing, outside. And he scratched my older brother scratched my his little brother's neck, just like a fingernail scratch, like 2 little marks across his neck, right? I didn't even notice it. Well, apparently my son came over from school the other day, and he goes, the teachers were questioning me about the marks on my neck. I said, what marks? And then I noticed 2 little. I said, how'd you get that? Right? So listen to this. There's a report made to social services. Now a social worker comes to my house, right, and I don't answer the door. So I'm thinking, well, I bet they report. So automatically I'm thinking, I bet they reported that crap at the school. Well, sure enough, they leave a note on my door today because it's the second time they come back. Please plan to meet with me at the agency no later than 10 a.m., 10/16/24. I've made several attempts to meet with you regarding your case to no avail. If I don't hear from the family, your case will be staffed with our attorney for non-compliance. As you are aware, the agency has been trying to meet with you. And signed, Mr. Harris, 10/15/24. This is the note that was left in my door by RCDHHS, the Rockingham Department of Social Services. So, kiss my ass, okay? First of all, what do you mean I'm in non-compliance? What are you talking about? Non-compliance with what? I never knew I was supposed to be in compliance.
How do you know you're not on vacation?
Exactly. Yeah.
Maybe you're up in fucking Asheville or something giving help to these motherfuckers that the government refuses to give help to.
Exactly. Instead of harassing other Americans,
Fucking people.
But yeah, this is something, and I could put my son on the phone right now, and he could tell everybody, Look, that's all it was. There was no abuse. There's no abuse. There's nothing going on here. It was 2 brothers wrestling with each other. Come on.
Well, here's what's happened. I can tell you this much because I've been through this situation twice. Now, and I don't have any kids. They weren't even my kids. They were my ex-wife's kids. And in Ohio, when they come to your house, that means that your son made a blatant, how do you say this? Not a claim, blatantly brought the event up, okay? Or the scratches, I should say. So with him talking to probably the teacher, or then they probably sent him to the counselor.
They did. They cornered him at the school. They did. They cornered him at the school. They interviewed him. Yeah.
Okay, so once that happens, he can either tell them to the extent of whatever happened, but what they're looking for is a way to come into your home and find you as an unfit parent. That's what they want.
Okay.
That's their goal. Number 1, that's their goal.
Yeah.
Number 2, if you go non-compliance, which I did because I told him, I said, listen, it's not my child, but here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to tell you, go pound salt. Go get your attorney. Go get him. And be aware of the fact that when you come here, you're trespassing. I said, and what you've done to my son in the school is you have to now you got to get into where you have eyewitnesses of who talked to him and this and that. It can turn into a complete shit show in about 2 days.
Yeah, I kind of figured that.
Bad.
Well, this is what they did. Listen, they interviewed both kids now. They went to my son's other school, because he's in high school. He's in a different school. They went to his high school, and they asked him, and he told them the truth. He said, we were just horse playing. It was brotherly stuff. And they said, well, that's not going to happen again. That's what they told him. Like that, that's wrong. And they go, it doesn't look like it. It looks like more of an aggressive type of scratch. What kind of a scratch is aggressive, by the way?
Maybe he had something on his coat, or a shirt. His tag scratched his neck. Are you gonna say, what the fuck? Is that how that happened?
Exactly.
Well,
they were wrestling around outside caves. I was there. I was there. I was cutting the grass. I was mowing my grass when they were doing it. I said, "Hey guys, knock it off!" Because they were wrestling around. Like brothers do.
What?
I mean, come on, man. I mean, what the hell? But this is tyranny. This is tyranny, man. This is tyranny, brother. Tyranny.
You have to. Hey, we're under their fucking system. You got to fucking do it, or they're going to drop the hammer on you.
Yeah.
So my advice to you would be to talk to these motherfuckers.
Yep.
Get your story straight. Exactly what you guys have all agreed upon. What they've said.
Yeah.
For sure.
Well, which is the truth.
And then. Right.
I mean, look, they were horse-playing.
You're not making up a story, but what you're doing is you're trying to just make sure that you don't go in there and go, well, I told you that. Say, no.
Yeah.
And now what? And the less you say, just like talking to the law, the less you say to them, the better off you are.
That's right. Yeah. Absolutely correct. The less you say. Well, you see, this happened, I told you now, remember in the beginning of the story, this happened about 8 years ago. Listen to this story, right? Listen, you're going to love this. The first time I had a crack at him, right? Listen, my now this is years ago now. Now little Noah, he was just starting to learn how to crawl and get into things like little toddlers do. So his older brother, see, they have their own bedrooms. They have two separate bedrooms. So the older brother, what I did was I put a latch on his door, because his bedroom door, because I didn't want him to forget to leave it open and then have stuff left out, because he's a kid, he's an 8-9-year-old kid. He's got crap all over the place,
Right.
So, and then his little brother go in there and get into something and get hurt. So I was thinking of safety. I said, well, let me put a latch on his door, because he's a little sneaky little guy. He crawls everywhere, and which he was doing. I put, covers over the plugs and put latches on the cabinets. But his brother's room, what am I supposed to do? It's his brother. That's his room. He plays in there. He's got his own stuff. He's got his privacy.
Right.
But his little brother sneaks in there. So I put a latch on the door. Well, he didn't like I put a latch on the door. He went and told his friends at school, and his teacher overheard it. All of a sudden, now it became a lock, and I'm locking him in his room.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. So Social Services came out, and they had to inspect the house, make sure they looked at the latch. They made me take the latch off the door. I had to take it off the door, They said, well, it's better off you just take it off, I played the nice game, you know what I mean, instead of being confrontational, And then they made 3 visits to the house. And watched the boys play outside, and we did the family thing, and then they closed the case, But this is bullshit, man.
But you're still on the book now for strike 2. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I was thinking about just hey, look, man, I'll make a stand. Let's do this, man. I'm all for it. I mean, screw this crap. Well, where do we draw the line? I mean, what the hell, man?
Is there any affiliation with the people that have contacted you with the people you ran against?
Who knows? I don't know.
You don't know?
Well, what do you mean as far as contact? What do you mean as far as them doing this, maybe?
Oh, no. As far as, are they buddies with them? They have a bug up their ass, or something was said or still said that they could push the button?
I know. I think this. To be honest with you, I think this is the school. Because this school is notorious for doing this to parents. I've been talking to a local online group actually about this, and some of the county commissioners that are running for office. They're friends with me, so and I was telling them what's going on, and they said they took their kid out of that school for the same exact reason. They homeschool. Because that school's got a bug up their ass. They report every little thing. It's one of them schools that walk around with a stick up their ass type of schools. I mean the principal's probably probably cross dresses in the middle of the night.
Hey, give me the school's name if you want, or text me the school's name if you want. Let me dig on it.
Yeah. I'll put it out there. It's Bethany Elementary.
I got people all over North Carolina now.
But they're notorious for doing this. And when this girl told me this, I was like, oh boy, and I said I didn't tell her about the first incident, and when they were wrestling, and I didn't really notice it, and sure enough, when I saw the marks, I said, oh boy, the school's gonna say something about that, I just know it, and I didn't even want to send them for a couple of days just for that reason, and I was like, screw it, they ain't gonna say nothing, I mean, what, they were wrestling. It's not like I did it, I mean.
Right.
So, man, oh, man. But they interviewed both kids. And I told my youngest son, my youngest one told me to interview him. But my oldest son didn't even tell me. I said, don't you think you would have told me this now? Why didn't you tell me they cornered you at school, Man.
Right.
He goes, well, I didn't think nothing of it. Well, yes, you should know better. Man, all the crap I preach about stuff that goes on. You should know how I am,
Well,
so,
when they cornered him at school, who did they have in there with him? Because there may be
a school social worker and counselor and a social worker from outside the school, like social services from outside, the CPS or whatever the hell they call themselves.
Right.
They came to the school and interviewed him. They pulled him out of class for that shit. Pull him out of class, ignore his education just so they could find out. And they were asking questions about me. What am I like at home? What's the mom like? And snooping around like they usually do. Ain't that something? Ain't that something?
The fact they negate the fact that they don't focus on how he established the scratches and find that out.
Yeah.
And then go.
Yep.
They want to just dig right into fucking some other shit. Right.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Wow.
Oh yeah. Well, the
What's
house
the
is
name of that
clean.
school?
The house is clean. The house is clean. We got plenty of food. I mean, the kids got plenty of toys. I mean, it looks like a regular family house, swing set in the yard and everything. So I mean, come on,
hey,
It's
a thing
they're gonna
called
pull
boys
some crap
will be
like
boys.
this. Yeah,
exactly.
Boys.
What football players don't get scratched or baseball. What doesn't?
Oh, I know.
This fucking world sucks.
What am I gonna do? Screw basketball. My son, my 14-year-old, he's 6'5". He's a big kid. He's 14 years old. Yeah, so I was going to put him in basketball. Hell, I'm not going to have him go to basketball. Well, he gets scratched at basketball. They're going to blame it on me.
Oh, my God. Well,
yeah.
That's why they're thinking that the fucking kid's beating on him.
Well, maybe, yeah. Well, both boys are pretty big, actually, But they're just wrestling with each other. I mean, for
doesn't make any difference. They're brothers.
Look, man, you hear stories. I was watching the Larry Bird documentary about 2 weeks ago. He had two older brothers that used to beat him up all the time. Come on, man. I mean, that way he said he used to enjoy it. That way he used to challenge you. Come on, man. I mean, I used to do it with my brothers when I was kids.
Any way these pricks can get into your home, any way they can do it to try and infiltrate and stir. They are trying to. Not only they're trying to divide families. They want them destroyed.
Yeah,
they want
that's
the
what they want.
To go to the state. That's what they want.
Yep. Yeah. Well, they'll be damned. They'll never take my kid. I'll tell you that right now. They ever tried that. That's the day I die. I don't care. We'll be another Weaver story. I'll tell you that right now. I'll put that right online right now. I'll tell you right now. Nobody's going to do that.
It's getting to the point of where that's starting to happen, and you have people pissed off about property taxes beyond belief. And this world's in for a rude awakening. What's going to happen? Because these people have sat by and watched all this shit happen, and they don't say nothing and don't stand up. It's probably some fucking teacher at school that ain't got no. It's only got a thing to hang on the wall, and she's probably flying, or he's probably flying a fucking rainbow flag.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's what I just said about the principal. He looks like one of those guys that goes out in the middle of the night cross dressing.
Well, you get him on camera doing that, then you got some leverage.
But I tell you,
what's
man,
the name of that
it's
school?
something else. Yeah, what's that?
What's the name of the school?
Oh, it's Bethany Elementary School. Elementary School. It's in from what I hear, like I said, some people told me online, openly online, actually, not in private message, get out of this school because of that same very thing. They make these reports, and it's and the real kids. But the thing of it is I know families with kids that really are in trouble. I mean, kids that are I've actually had to help out in this community where kids are caught out. I mean, but I didn't report them or anything. But you help out as a community. Poor families. I mean, but man, oh man, and they're worried about mine. This is crazy, man. I got another caller here on the line. Let me bring him on with us. Go ahead, caller.
Man, you know something, Joe? When I first started working.
Hey, what's up?
Yeah, what's up, Dave? What's up, Joe?
What's up,
when I first started working, man, most of the time I got involved, and I didn't get involved in DCFS stuff too much. unless like I'm working
Yep.
downstate and the local sheriff is asking us for assistance because they think the guy is armed. There might be something on there. A couple of troopers go along with him or something like that. You know, I didn't really get involved with that too much, other than people maybe on a warrant as a result of some DCFS activity. But most of the time when I did get involved in it, when I first started working, there were genuine cases of abuse that the state needed to intervene in. That was most of the time. Most of them were valid complaints. But later on, as more and more of this leftist shit started to infiltrate in society, you see more of this nanny state shit. You know? Especially a lot of these women who work in DCFS, and they don't like the idea of boys playing. You know how boys are rough, and they get injured. I think how many times I got injured, some kind of injury, and somebody could have made a DCF case out of it based on the kind of things you're saying. But they are increasingly doing that now for the same reason they keep stuffing young boys full of Ritalin. Because they're trying to tamp down their natural boyish energy and enthusiasm and desire to test each other. That's what boys do, whether it was with their brothers or whether it's with their friends. But now we're running up against this nanny state and this phenomenon I call left feminism. That's leftist feminism. And the whole nanny state psychosis, man. So what you're going through right now is just one more manifestation of that. Now I got a question for you, Joe. Here's the question. Before they came to your house, did they even make an attempt to find out from your son that anything untoward was going on in your home? Did they even talk to him before someone came out to your house?
They did. Yes, they did. They interviewed both children, and they didn't believe them. They interviewed the older brother. They went to his school, and he said it was just brotherly love that he said. He said we were just wrestling, and the worker told him, I don't believe that. That looks like an aggressive scratch, and it won't happen again. That's what she told him. And I guess he got a little nervous or whatever, of course, and he said, look, nothing happened. I'm telling you right now. So they did. They interviewed him, both children. And, of course, they interviewed my 8-year-old. My 8-year-old, he's got an imagination like, the last week he wanted me to be the vice president of his new cell phone company, I mean, so he's got an imagination, So I can only imagine what he said.
Yeah, well, you know what, man? All this stuff is consistent with the idea that the state is primary role of the family and the life of the family. And they want the state at all levels, whether it's state or federal levels, they want them involved in your life to the maximum extent possible. And that's why, and I know you don't think elections matter much, but if you think Kamala Harris will not embody the worst of the nanny state, I got news for you. She will.
I know.
Now, that would be a big difference between her and Donald Trump. A huge difference.
Yeah. But Sarge, if this happened a week ago to 10 days ago, if you look at my 8-year-old's neck right now, there's nothing on his neck. It's totally, so it wasn't even. They were just 2 scratches, for goodness sake.
It doesn't matter.
Because he had him in the headlock. He had a little headlock position.
Some bureaucrat got a bug up their ass and decided they want to justify their existence. Plus, they're probably imbued with the creed that men, particularly, and parents generally, can be dangerous to upbringing the children. After all, they might not go along with the idea if that kid decided one day to transition, you wouldn't let him cut his nuts off.
Yeah. It's crazy, man. Like I told you, this happened years ago with the latch on the door thing, and I cooperated with him. I said, okay, I could see where the story got blown out of proportion. So I let him come in the house and look around and check out the door, and I took the latch off the door. But you know what? I put the latch on there for safety reasons because, look, we know toddlers, they get into mischief. And he always wants to go in his brother's room to see what his brother's doing, and I was trying to keep him out. Because, you never know. He might leave something hanging around. He builds model airplanes, leaves a little knife. That thing gets cut. You just never know. So I was just doing safety. I was being a good father, But, oh, no. You can't do that now. You can't be a good father nowadays. No. So I had to play their game. And they came out 3 times, and then they closed the case. I mean, she was a black lady. She was younger, and she basically laughed it off, the incident. And she said, but I have to do my job. Get everybody happy, and that's what I did,
I get it, man, but I'm telling you, once upon a time in Illinois, DCFS mostly tried to be conscientious about rooting out child abuse. And I would say more likely than not, when they got involved in a case, it was a legitimate case that warranted intervention by the state or at least investigation. I would say that was true.
Yeah.
Later on, toward the end of my career, I didn't think that was true anymore. I'm telling you, man. These
I don't like the letter.
social services.
I don't like the letter.
Yeah, but Joe, these social services agencies have.
Go ahead.
Well, these social services agencies, they've been hijacked by these damn leftists and these left feminists. I'm telling you, man, they've hijacked these social services.
Yeah.
Every level.
To this letter day, like I said, listen to the message day. Let's see in the door. In the door. Blew it away too. If I didn't know, I heard to meet with me at the agency, which is not. I'm not doing that. He says no later than 10 a.m. at 10/16/24. I've made several attempts, which is a lie, to meet with you regarding your case to no avail. If I don't hear from the family, your case will be staffed with our attorney for non-compliance. As you are aware, the agency has been trying to meet with you. And he signs it. Thank you for your attention
no warrant
regarding
or no
this
subpoena. They ain't got no warrant or no subpoena. You ain't got to talk to them. But you know what?
Yeah.
Like you were saying earlier, you know what it could mean, though. They will go to a judge and get one. And I'm telling you, it's pretty easy for them guys to get it. They will. If they're going to try to. If they're gonna try to use that,
what
man,
what they'll do is they'll get one for a welfare check, and they'll have one, and then they'll enter the house. That's what they're gonna do.
That's what they'll do.
You know?
That's what they'll do, man. So
and then,
you're right. You ain't got
to
talk to them, but
then it's on.
But if you're not, if you're not gonna cooperate with them, and you really fear that, you probably should go to an attorney as soon as you can to get ready to preempt whatever it is they're gonna do.
I'm gonna call the guy first thing tomorrow morning. I'm gonna call him. I make a record of it, and I'm going to hold them because you know they're mail game now. Hopefully they don't.
Hey, Joe,
but I'm going to call them and say I got your notice.
Record every phone call, and if they come to the house, do not tell them, but put up a sign that says when you enter the premises or on the premises, video. They got them at the store, you know, like a hardware store.
Video surveillance.
That says that because in Ohio you have to let someone know that they can actually be video recorded or by audio. Now, audio can get you in trouble if you don't tell them, but if it's posted, they can't say shit.
Yeah, North Carolina is a one-party state.
And I would record everything. And then when the shit hits the fan, you can turn around and tell them and say, well, you know, the way you handled your business and your job is suspect, and this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and call the news and put you on the fucking stand.
Yeah. Well, you know, the thing of it is like this. I'll cooperate. I'm going to do the right thing and cooperate. See, the thing of it is they came on Saturday, you know, the first time. And it was Saturday afternoon. And I was matter of fact, I was inside the shower because, you know, I forgot what I was doing. I think I worked that day. That's right. I went down to the veterinarian clinic, worked that day. And, you know, I was in the shower, and my kids, they don't answer the door, you know, unless I know, you know what I mean? That's one of my rules. You don't answer the door when I'm in the shower or something like that, you know, because you never know who it is. You know, I'm off guard then, you know. Somebody comes in, what am I going to do? So, you know, so they didn't answer the door. I said, who was knocking? They said, I don't know. And I said, I looked at it, and I seen that state car driving away. I said, oh, boy. And, you know, and then I went and they left a note on the door. You know, that was the first note. And so I let the mother know. I told the mother, and she goes, well, I'll call. Obviously, she didn't call, or she says she did. I don't know. I'm going to find out when she gets home from work tonight and see what the heck's going on here, you know. So because he left another note, and that was the note this afternoon. And this time they were knocking, and I wasn't going to open the door. I heard them. I knew they were out there, you know. I never answer the door anyway when the government knocks on the door. You know.
No,
so,
I always tell them, I say, hey, if they come back, bring somebody else with you because I'm not going to talk to you. You two can talk to each other. I'm not talking to you.
Yeah. You know, so it's crazy, man. I mean, this is just insane. It's insanity, and I just can't believe that this is going on with so many families now, where you know it gets escalated now. Just say you know, and they escalated this, and I got back and whoa, what's all you guys doing here, you know? You know what I mean? You know, anything could happen. That's a good point you just brought up. What happens if I was on vacation or something? Man.
They want to destroy the family structure altogether. They've been trying to do it. They've got it now where the teachers are in the schools. They're doing it there. And any way they can get into your home to try and find you, deem you as an unfit parent, they will do that, and they will make you. You're going to bow to them, they think. That's their deal. You're going to bow to them.
You made a key point. You made a key point. Why are they not these state work? Why aren't they helping these families out, the hurricane victims? What are they doing? You know, aren't they short of manpower? I mean, come on.
Hey,
and they're coming around harassing me on Saturday. You know, this is on a Saturday afternoon too. On top of it, they came. I didn't like that. You know, that was the first twice.
That's your tax.
You know, he said several attempts,
right
so
there.
he's already lying here.
Taxpayers' money hard at work on that Saturday getting that overtime.
Yeah. Yep. So he made several attempts. That's a lie. That's several attempts. I could tell this person, but I don't like that, you know. But
hey, Sarge, is Joe cutting
wants
out
to jump
on
in
me?
Here. Am I cutting out, guys?
Yeah, you're cutting in and out on me.
All right.
Yeah, I hear you. You're cutting out pretty badly from time to time, Joe. So,
yeah.
All right. How about now?
Too.
Is everything okay right now? Can you guys hear me okay?
It comes and it goes. It's not constant. It comes and it goes.
All right. It could be my connection. I got another caller here. Let's connect another call. It's probably Block Talk Radio. Go ahead, 203.
Peace and love. What's going on, Joe? It's Connecticut.
Hey, how you doing?
All right. It's wonderful to hear y'all talking about things that we all share. And that's not based on race specific. And outside of your show, how might anybody contact you to organize and build something bigger and better for all of us?
Well, I mean, make sure I'm not breaking up, guys. If I'm breaking up, I'll have to call back in. But I just want to make sure I'm not breaking up. I don't like that. It disrupts the show.
It's okay now.
I mean, yeah, okay. Well, you can email me, man. Email me. You know, look, I ran for public office down here in North Carolina, so I still have a state-run committee, actually. Matter of fact, I got to do my financial report, actually. They sent me a notice last week. Because you're supposed to declare any funds you get for your, committee and, anything you spend in the campaign name and whatnot, because I still got a registered committee, so I got to do that. But again, thanks for reminding me, actually. You just reminded me. But, yeah, man, email me, and I've been trying to organize and get things together, at least starting out here in North Carolina, but to do something nationally, we've tried that many times. Remember Tave with Mike from the righteousarmy.org. He's been trying for a long time. bigvirushoax.org. We've got together a big platform a couple of years ago with people all around the country trying to organize and trying to do a righteous army, put together a righteous army that's God-fearing to reinstall values in government and values in the people and put together a righteous army that can take back our republic. We tried doing that, and it's just hard getting people together, brother. You know that. It's hard to get people to come together and do what they say they're going to do and mean what they say and say what they mean. It's very hard. But it's good, though, that you want to do something like that. I respect that, and it gives me more hope, actually.
You ever see Harlem Nights?
Harlem Night? No, actually, no. Why? What's
Eddie Murphy and Richard Pryor?
Oh, I heard of that one, but I don't remember it though.
You need to sit down and get a good laugh. In one of the scenes, Richard Pryor tries to school Eddie, and Eddie tells him it's not how many people you shoot, it's who you shoot.
That's right.
So I'm not saying we're going to shoot anybody, but I am saying it's not how many people we have or the things that we tried to do. There are more specific things that should be employed. We haven't organized, employed, and facilitated as a people. And so I'm looking more along those lines. And so
quality.
Say that again?
Yeah. Quality. You want quality soldiers, man. Quality soldiers.
Well, the program itself has to be quality for all of us, because know people.
Okay.
Yeah, people try to fix the problem along race, along class, along gender, and the same problem that I was hired to fix in 1980, that was existing before I was born in 65, is the same problem we're fighting today. It's the same thing, billions of dollars later. And so it takes the people to actually make the change of the change that we're talking about. And so I hear you talking. I hear other people talking. So with you talking, I consider Joe like one of the leaders. And he'll continue to be, And so I
appreciate that.
And talk with Joe.
Yeah,
so,
we'll talk privately, man. You listen. Get my email. Get my email, and I'll give you my phone number off air, my private number, and
I'm about to give you all of that for me through Facebook.
Okay, good. Sounds good. That's good. And we'll exchange information. And, we'll talk privately. And I do know people from around the country, obviously, and people that are yearning to come together. They have been for a long time now, But the thing of it is getting the right people to spread the right message, a unifying message that we're going to take. Like you said, the quality of the group has to be most and foremost, the most important thing first. What are we talking about? What are we standing for? What are we fighting up against? What kind of change do we want to make? And after we make that change, what's the goals after that? You have to how to sustain it,
Yes,
That's
sir.
the key.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, exactly. So I have a few things to put on the table with you. We could sit down and chop it up, and then one night we could present it on your show. And we want to get you as a host, as a guest host on our show. We want to sit down and talk with you on our show on YouTube, We the People.
Sounds good.
Christina.
Okay. I think I know who you're talking about there. I think I know. I'm pretty sure I do. I'm not. Listen, when I'm especially when I'm doing the show, I got a million names going through my head at once. You know how it is.
Okay.
I mean, you know so many people over the years.
Yes, sir. Well, she's one of the people she connected me to you. She's the one who said, "Hey, check this guy out." So I've been listening.
Cool.
This is my second show in, and so I like the way you deal with things. But I'm gonna put this information in Facebook. And thank you.
Yeah, man.
And y'all handle it.
You are welcome.
Peace and love, Sarge.
Sarge, you got a fan out there, man.
Wait a minute, say that again. Say that again.
He said peace and love, Sarge.
Peace and love, Sarge.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Peace and love and kumbaya to you, too.
Sarge is the man. That's our history guy there. When we got a history question, we got to go to Sarge.
Man,
anyway.
look, man, I don't know why people. I will never understand why people say history is boring. Because history is literally the story how everything came to be. How can that be boring? That's why I think it's the most fascinating subject there is. Everything that exists has got a history.
Hey, Sarge, especially as much as they lied to us about the past, we find more shit out now today that they never told us. That's why it is interesting.
You're damn right.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of past, guess what just popped up about Kamala? She's a plagiarist, and a big-time plagiarist. Now you can add that to her resume with all the other horrid things we know about her.
I heard the best one the other day when somebody called her a mattress climber. They use her ladder to get to where she's at with a bunch of mattresses.
But the problem is, Sarge, is we got this left-right paradigm. Trump, Kamala Harris, Trump, Kamala Harris, Harris, Trump. And the thing of it is that really, are they the people that are going to really install change anyway? No, they're not. It's up to us, the people, to do it. Yeah, we got the person on the pedestal that we can look at on the TV, and he's going to inspire one half of the country. Meanwhile, the other half of the country is not going to be happy. It's not going to fix country, Sarge, right? I mean, you're going to be happy if Trump wins, but half of the people aren't going to be happy. So how do we fix it?
I'm not necessarily going to be happy if he wins. What I'm going to see right now, look, Joe, I'm in a damage control right now. I don't want this ship of state to take on any more water because it's sinking. You understand? I'm under no delusions or illusions as to anything being fixed overnight. It won't be. Right now, I'm in the damage control. Like I said, I think the bilge pumps ain't working, and we're taking on too damn much water. I'm trying to minimize the amount of water we're taking on. That's it.
Yeah.
You know,
I got Bianchi waiting online here.
When we keep the ship afloat, we can get it back to dry dock and then make the extensive repairs that are going to be made. Right now, we got to keep it going so it can get back to dry dock. And I think Trump will do the least damage.
I know. I'm with you. Let's connect with Bianchi and see what he's got to say.
We got
Mr. Bianchi, what's up?
34 seats in the Senate up for election.
Hey, what's going on? Hey, Sarge, how you doing?
What's the word?
Gibson, everyone else. Sarge, I sent
right.
your email. I've done some research on Nikki Haley. But, you know, I'm going to tell you something. She was born in 1972. Her father naturalized in 1978, and her mother naturalized in 2003. So we know where her standing is. But as I read, it's these damn news sources, these magazines like People's, that put out these lies. They hire these fact checkers, and these fact checkers will slant the situation, including the Constitution, and say there's nothing wrong with them. And that is a problem because that's what you call the misinformation everybody's claiming that the right puts out. No, they're putting out misinformation. Big time. So check that email I sent you.
What do you think, Sarge? Hey?
You know what I've said a million times, Joe. There is, out of every major constitutional issue there is no more confusion, obfuscation, and confounding than over the natural born citizen issue eligible to be president. And it's so simple in its essence, it just shouldn't be. It just goes to show you what people will do when they want to ensure that anyone, and particularly those with nefarious globalist impulses, that when they want to make sure that anyone can be president of the United States to further accelerate our journey toward globalism. That's why they want to confound the issue with all this nonsense that ain't got nothing to do with it in the first place. But it's up to us to straighten it out. Even if we can't get it in a court, which it looks increasingly likely that we're just not going to be able to in the short term, we can put out the word as widely as possible so people can say to themselves, do I want to vote for someone who's not constitutionally qualified to be president? People can make that decision on their own, whether we have a court case or not. And I don't think that us bringing it out and making a coherent, logical, rational argument in favor of opposition is going to cause that person to get any more votes. I think it'll cause a few thousand or so or several thousand or so to move in the other direction, and that'll be a good thing, too.
But you know another thing, too?
Maybe.
Sarge and Joe Gibson, I'm finding.
Yeah.
What's up with all these Indians wanting to be president of the United States? What's going on with this? Look,
I don't know. Maybe
you had Nikki Haley.
Maybe they want their country back.
You had who else? Bobby Jindal. What's going on here, man?
Well, I don't know. It's a conspiracy. I don't know. But
I got a theory. I'm gonna let you advance. I got a theory about it. One thing about Indians that come to this country, and you got to admit this is true. They are ambitious and they are natural climbers. I'm talking about the ones that come to this country. And if they see an opening to get it, I'm not surprised so many of them want to take it because they got this entrepreneurial spirit in the first place. And they say, well, look, I got a shot at being
Indians here.
The Indians that come, they're the ones that come to the United States. They are the ones who want to break away from what's going on in India, and then they see an opportunity because they're natural climbers. You know, from what I've read, that region of the earth has the highest average IQ in the world, and then they come to this country.
Get along with those guys. Yeah, I used to get along with them. You know, especially the ones that own the gas stations, because they all own gas stations. You know, and these little ones.
Like I said, man, they're ambitious.
Whatnot.
They're entrepreneurial.
Yeah.
They're ambitious.
I'm always in there talking.
And, if you're ambitious, what higher political office is there to aspire to than President of the United States?
But you get on their bad side, they can be mean to you now. Because you get on their bad side, they ain't going to talk. You know, you get on their bad side, they're mean to you. Let me tell you that right now.
Well,
they'll cut you right off.
That's the. Look, that's the fact. Look, those things are. Well, look. Who's meaner than Hillary Rodham? Wait, who's meaner than Hillary Rodham Clinton? And she's a natural-born citizen. Who's meaner than she is?
Yeah, hang on, Sarge. Hang on. What's that, Connecticut?
This is something that part of the private conversation we're going to have to take a look at. The reason why foreign people come to the United States and they get ahead is because of this thing called international trade. They have to allow those people certain rights and stuff like that, even beyond you and I. But it has to do with trade.
Isn't that amazing? People don't know this stuff, though.
Say that?
People do not know this stuff, though. They don't understand this. That's why these illegals, they call them illegals, but they have more rights than us because they're not contracted in with the United States corporation.
Right. And so this is part of the problem that we don't see, that we don't face, that we don't want to admit when we're from here and we operate from here. But the truth is they're from another country, and their country made trade negotiations with the United States. So when those people come over here from all those other countries, they get treated a whole lot different than you and I. Why? They came from a different country, and we got to put that factor in there and stop putting each other down, saying that somebody else is smarter than them. Because if you look at half the stuff, like Bill Gates is from here, and he's the one who did Microsoft and made computers what they are, IBM, and all. If you look at everything, this place is the one. Too, right? So everybody else copies behind us. So we don't put that into the factor, and we got to start putting that into the factor. It's because of the trade that they get treated differently. They own all the gas stations, and where does gas come from? The East Arabia. So now they come over here and they all represent part of what's theirs over here in trade with the United States, and you and I lose. I yield the floor.
Yeah, true. Bianchi's good on education. He knows a lot about the school system. Why have our students, though, are failing here in this country? I mean, why? Because of the stupefying, dumbed-down educational system that we have. Our government gets what it pays for. And it gets what it wants. And it doesn't want our children to be educated. It doesn't want you and I to be educated, this corporation. And we've got to stop that, and we have to uplift our people to take it. Because we can take advantage of what's out there, because we do have the tools still. The tools are still there for us to take advantage of. They haven't stripped those away yet. And thank God for the Internet, or we'd really be stupid, running around stupid. I mean, I don't know. What do you guys think? I mean, what's your opinion on that, the educational system in America? I mean, we should see it downfall, downward spiral,
Joe,
what do you think?
You should take a look at, in a minute, I will give you the details because I wrote it down, and I'll bring the details on it. The scandal that's going on in Chicago with the Chicago School Board is typical of not only the abysmal ignorance they're teaching our children, but of the corruption, the sheer criminal, entrenched corruption that is endemic in these major public school systems. I'll tell you, what's going on in Chicago right now is appalling. I'll tell you all the details in just a minute.
All right, I got 1 minute. Okay, I got 1 minute. I got 1 minute and 45 seconds of a flash in the past here from something that we used to love years ago. There we go. Why we don't have shows like this anymore. Here you go.
Boy, don't make Glenn Miller play. Guys like us, we had it.
For 9 years, America heard that song and sat down in their living rooms to spend a little time with the Bunkers. Hi, I'm Norman Lear. What was the mistake of All in the Family that so endeared those people to all of us? Well, even after 20 years, there's still no simple explanation. Whatever the reason, for almost a decade, America had a love affair with a family from Queens, New York. But like any love affair, there were more than a few stormy moments. Some people thought the show went too far, talked about issues that shouldn't be discussed, bigotry, homosexuality. Even flushing a toilet caused quite a controversy. It's been said that what All in the Family did was hold a mirror up to America and showed us who we were. Why don't you decide?
When I was a little girl and a woman was starting to show, they used to say she was expecting a bundle from heaven. And, of course, everybody knew it was really a baby.
I wish we could get back to them days, but this world needs a little more of that class. Well, here and before, when we talk about glorious condition now, we can expect it.
Or in a family way?
Or with child. How do you feel about knocked up? Just because a guy is sensitive and he's an intellectual and he wears glasses, you make him out a queer. I never said a guy who wears glasses is a queer. A guy who wears glasses is a four-eyes. A guy who's a fag is a queer. No features.
Well, there you go, huh? They don't make shows like that no more.
Archie was the greatest.
Boy, oh boy. I like Sanford and Son though. Sanford and Son had me cracking up. Yeah, that was good. You know, that guy was good.
Man, Sanford and Son used to regularly make use of the N-word all the time in Sanford and Son. They could not do Sanford and Son today.
You know, I knew where he lived in St. Louis, Joe Gibson, there on Fountain and Kings Highway, but he was something else, I tell you. Now, and Esther, she stayed there on Enright. I know where her house was.
Really? Wow. I tell you.
Yeah,
all
that
right,
ensemble cast was some of the funniest people on the planet, man. And the Red Fox show.
Yeah, most definitely.
Sanford and Son, rather.
Yeah. You got your material, Sarge?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm ready. I'm just coming in the house now. I'm gonna get it. I want to report this accurately.
Okay.
So, but but remember that one show on Sanford and Son when he went to court and he said, "I don't see nothing but ends up in here." Remember that?
He said you got enough niggas up in here to make a Tarzan movie.
He sure did. Can you do that? You cannot do that today.
No, he was funny, man. That was a good guy right there, man. That's funny.
Well, here's the point.
Oh man,
you can, but people are afraid to. I mean, people use it. They use it amongst themselves. They use it in entertainment.
Yeah. Bianca, you're missing the show there where I talk about what's going on with my situation. Oh boy, but I don't feel like rehashing it really. But it's social services and how they're up about. It's just ridiculous that these people. The tyranny has really taken a foothold.
Social services.
No, Mike. I'll tell the story real quick again. I got a 14-year-old and an 8-year-old. They were outside wrestling, and the 14-year-old scratched the 8-year-old's neck. Not bad, 2 little scratches. And they saw it at the school, and they reported it to social services. Now they're coming knocking on my door, wanting to talk to me and my mom and his mother, their mother. Can you believe that?
You
believe that?
Her neck got scratched?
Yes, my 8-year-olds, they were wrestling, the 2 brothers.
Oh, my goodness.
And he got his neck. It's not even, you can't even see it now. They're gone. It's been less than, 8 days since it happened, and his neck is completely healed. It was just 2 little scratch marks because he got him in a headlock, because they were wrestling. I was mowing the grass on my tractor, mowing the grass, and I see him up there wrestling by the swing side. I said, hey, knock it off, you 2. And I come to behold, he had little scratches on his neck. He didn't even feel it, But he went to school the next day, and they reported it.
Yeah, man.
So I got them knocking on my door. Yeah.
They out.
They are.
I tell you what,
they left a note in the door today.
We come in the house with black eyes and broken arms. God damn.
Oh, I know. Yeah, man. We used to play street football. When I was up in Connecticut there, Meriden, Connecticut, we used to play street football after school every day, Man, fall down, scrape our knees, shoulders scrape, I mean, come on. Ridiculous. This is ridiculous. It's just all nonsense.
That's a bunch of bull crap. That go along with that bullying stuff. Boys play hard.
Yeah.
Now they got boys damn near wearing dresses.
Ain't that the truth?
Yeah.
I got that data for you, Joe, about Chicago.
All right,
and I
George,
tell you, it's really bad.
Go ahead, shoot then. Anybody else wants to jump in after this? Go ahead. All right.
Now look, let's go Brandon Johnson up there in Chicago. He nominated 7 appointees to the city's Board of Education last week after most of the board collectively resigned in early October. Now the whole of the city was stunned by this, and the rest of the nation was stunned by this. And this is illustrative of Chicago's downward spiral and the country's with regard to public education, particularly where Democrats reign and the teachers union are insinuated into not only the government of the city, but the Democrat Party. Now, the reason all them people on the school board resigned was because of the Chicago Teachers Union contract negotiations. Now, it's 30,000 members in the Chicago Teachers Union. That's just the Chicago Teachers Union. You hear what I said? 30,000 members. That's just Chicago. That ain't counting all them other big cities. It's one of the most powerful teachers unions. Their current demands, now get this, they wanted a 9% annual raise, 45 days off from school each year, and a whole bunch of other benefits that cost the city between $10 billion and $14 billion between 2025 and 2028. Remember, we're talking about a city that's bankrupt, and this is going to cost them this. But wait a minute now. Here's the problems with their demands. Now, they want this big-ass pay raise when they show that they cannot educate Chicago public school students. They were resistant to reopening the schools after the COVID pandemic, made sure that 355,000 student school district, the third largest in the nation, would be one of the last to return to in-person classes, which caused significant educational deficits for the mostly black and Latino student body. And then even Lori Lightfoot got frustrated with the Chicago Teachers Union, and this is what she said about them in February 2021. She said, "We've extended ourselves beyond measure. We need our kids back in school. We need our parents to have that option. It should not be that CPS parents are, of all the schools in our city, the only ones that don't have the option for in-person learning." And listen to this academic of Chicago Public Schools. Listen to these statistics. In the 2022-23 school year, 75% of Chicago Public School students in grades 3 to 8 did not meet the reading standards on the Illinois Assessment of Readiness. More than 80% failed the math test. Close to 40% of them were chronically absent or missing more than 10 days of school. Minority students were the worst, and we know when we talk about minority, when we talk about mostly black students. Here's what Chicago Tribune said. 30% of black students meet or exceed reading standards in third grade. 30%. That's 3 out of every 10. Then the number falls to 14% for 11th graders. And this is directly because of the Chicago's teachers unions, in my opinion, and the pedagogy that they have decided to institute in the schools. Now, and look, we got, you know how much they spend per pupil in Chicago? Per pupil spending in Chicago. You know what it is? It's $30,000 per student. That's $33,000. That's more than 100% the national average. And
$36,000 a year on an inmate. And inmates, and that's nothing. That's nothing. So I can only imagine what 30,000 covers.
Yeah, but for a student, but an inmate, you got to house them 24 hours a day. Go to school, when they leave. It's $30,000 per student. $30,000.
Man.
But here,
that's crazy.
But look, the academic performance of Chicago public school students has been so bad that the school board stopped grading schools by performance. Now, this is a woman named Stacey Davis Gates. She's the president of Chicago Teachers Union. And she said school choice is a choice of racists. And this biatch sent one of her own kids to De La Salle School, which is a private Catholic school that charges $14,750 tuition per year. This woman is the president of the Chicago Teachers Union. I tell you, man, it is like
where's the money going there?
outrageous.
Where's the money going, Sarge? Where's the money going? I mean,
it's going to everything but educating shit. Listen to this now. This is even worse. It gets worse. Now, Mayor Johnson used to be a Chicago Teachers Union employee. He was the principal. I think his highest ranking was principal before, when he was running for mayor. Now remember, this is typical of these damn big city schools. This guy, rather than accepting the financial reality that Chicago's in, he pressured the Chicago public schools to take out, now listen to this now, a $300 million high-interest loan to give the Chicago Teachers Union a giant raise and fund their pension. Now, the Wall Street Journal reported that the school district already has a junk credit rating, so the $300 million loan is going to cost the city of Chicago $700 million. That's further going to push the district over a fiscal cliff and further bankrupt an already bankrupt city. And this is what Johnson said. I swear to God, this is what he said. He said that such a financially irresponsible move is necessary. Now listen to this now. Quote, so we don't have to lay off brown and black women, unquote. I swear to God, man, how do you expect these people over reform and public education? They can't. They don't want to.
You remember who he blamed Chicago's woes on when he first got elected?
Yeah, Richard Nixon. The fact that we didn't elect Lyndon Johnson. Yeah.
Oh, my Lord.
Lyndon Johnson in 1964, we had an option to elect Richard that would have expanded greatly around 1968, and he was replaced by Hubert Humphreys when he decided to decline to run, remember? Because we didn't elect Lyndon Johnson, who would have massively expanded the Great Society even more than it was. Therefore, that's the reason Chicago public schools are failing now, and there's so much crime. I swear to God, that's what that fool said.
And that ain't got to do anything with the shootings. I started keeping track of the shootings from 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, and 2023. In those 4 years, and my source was the Chicago Tribune, ABC 7 Chicago, and the Chicago Sun-Times.
But wait a minute, I got something even better. I got something even better for you, Bianchi. I got something even better.
Why don't you call the local news media down there and call them up live on the podcast?
Oh, they know all this. They know. They're already reporting. They're already reporting. They know it.
You know how many blacks were shot by other blacks in them 4 years? Close to 13,000. With about 1,300
That's a war.
1 year they had like 795 murders. They had so much shooting going on. Wait a minute. See, I talk about black folks. That's why people call me coons and everything, because nobody else won't tell the truth. All I want somebody to do is show me where I'm not correct. Show me where I'm wrong. They can't do it. They don't want to answer the phone. They don't want to answer the phone. This is ridiculous what's going on to them kids. Those children don't wake up in the morning wanting to be a failure. That's the people.
Let me give you some more ammunition, which is very specific about those shootings. This is what Brandon Johnson did to make sure more of these shootings would occur. He vetoed the city council's ordinance to keep a thing they call Shot Spotter. It's a gunshot detection and response system because his anti-police supporters said the system was expensive, ineffective in reducing crime, and racist for being overly deployed in minority neighborhoods where most of the shootings occur. And now then Johnson and his supporters ignored the fact that there were listen now, 1,200 gun shootings in the city so far. And after the Chicago Police Department decommissioned the Shot Spotter detection sensors, what they are is basically microphones, very acoustic microphones that pick up a shot.
Now, can they tell a gunshot between a firecracker or
yes,
you know
they can. Yes, they can, because they got an oscilloscope that shows the different frequency of the sound. And what it does is it determines an azimuth from which the shot was made. Another one in another location shoots another azimuth, and then another one shoots, and you get 3 or 4 microphones that are shooting the azimuth, and where all these lines intersect is the location of where the shot occurred. It's very basic science. It's not like a super sophisticated technology. But anyway,
triangulation.
Yeah, triangulation, right. But here's what happened now. After the Chicago Police Department decommissioned these Shot Spotter detection sensors in September of this year, 3 people were shot to death in neighborhoods where Shot Spotter sensors were turned off. And there's an alderman, a guy named Sylvania Taveras, and this is what he said, quote, every gunshot victim left bleeding in the streets of our city would be a worthy sacrifice in the eyes of the mayor for his radical agenda. This guy and these Democrats and these goddamn teachers unions and all their goddamn radical nutcase supporters are directly responsible for this hellhole that Chicago is becoming.
Well, you can't. Yeah, I mean, they have destroyed every city across America. That is true.
Let me tell you something.
I mean, they have.
Can I jump in, Joe?
Hang on. You're next. Danny Davis, the congressman for that part of Illinois. Danny Davis, a black congressman, and you got another one. I think his name is Savage. He's a former in Black Panther. He was on a radio show, and I called in to Danny Davis. I asked him, I said, "What's your position on the southern border?" You know what this guy said? He said there's room for everybody. I kid you not.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, Lord. Have mercy. God damn.
Have mercy. Go ahead, Connecticut. Connecticut wants to say something. Go ahead.
So in everything that I just heard you discuss there, and of course all of this leads to the outside table, but I'm going to state economics. And first I'm going to start with the economics of words. I'd rather hear the N word than to ever hear our women called the B word in any form. The respect of our women, of our mothers, is first and primary in everything that we're doing. So the N word, I can find reasons to use it, but I won't use it.
But you know what, sir? I hear what you're saying, but what do you do when the women call themselves that?
That's the women. We don't worry about what women do because we men. And they can't compete with us, so we're not worried about them. Let them do them. They want to be nasty to each other, let them. But I tell my women, my sisters, my girl, I don't like y'all talking to each other like that. It don't sound right.
Yeah.
But when it comes
I will admit that my characterization of this woman as a biatch is rather intemperate. I will admit it. But I'll tell you one thing, as far as I'm concerned, she does not represent black women. She certainly doesn't represent my mother or anybody I knew. And I'm telling you, I say if the shoe fits, she ought to wear it.
You're going me somewhere with it that I didn't intend, because I'm not speaking on black women. This whole conversation that y'all been speaking has been it's like we all share it. Like all of us are men, right? So we could say over the last 20 years, when it comes to just being a man and being a masculine, we under attack. Just for being a man.
Let me tell you what I've heard. Let me tell you what I've heard.
Any women out there want to jump in on this? I know we got some women listening.
Let me tell you what I heard. I heard the women call the men bitches. Now what we going to do?
Women can do what and say almost as long as they not hitting on a man and abusing a man, because words roll off us, right? They women. We don't ever compare ourselves to women. And what women do, we stand in correction of what they do.
You got black males out there that's considering themselves as women. I hear what you're saying, but that stuff don't work today.
I refuse to not hold women to the same standards that every adult is held to. I refuse to do that. They are going to be as responsible as men have to be. That's it. The bottom line for me, I'm not coming off that square.
Okay.
They want equal rights. They want equal pay. They want equal rights and equal pay, then they're going to have to hold themselves to just as standard as anybody else.
I am not a red pill man, and I can tell y'all some things when it comes to women, even as far as women lying and getting you arrested and stuff like that. I can tell y'all some things. And I'm still going to say, I got a mama, I got a daughter, I got a granddaughter. They will be talked to and treated with the highest respect. And so everybody else's mother gets the same thing, and none of these women deserve to be called. It's an ignorant thing that we got going on that we can refer to them that way after they birth us. So what I understand about Kamala, but I'm not talking about Kamala per se. I'm not talking about anyone per se. I'm talking about general and overall in the economics of the words, what they mean. How they hold, what type of value do they hold? I would rather hear the N word than to hear B towards our women. And it doesn't matter. Now, some women are abusive. Yeah, they need to be held accountable. I agree. That's why I said abusive. However, some women are just weak and they're just lashing out. And you know that too. So you let them be weak and lash out. But
you know, here's a big problem, too. You got black women today complaining about the lack of finding a man. Not a male, a man. But see, they forget one thing. Let me finish saying what I got to say. Let me say this one thing. They are raising these boys
to Caucasian women who are alone.
They are raising these boys who are growing up to become males that they are dissatisfied with. The problem
you don't
lies
see that
with
in
them.
the Caucasian kids. You don't see that in the white community too. You don't
I
see
ain't
that.
talking about no damn white community. I'm talking about the black community.
Okay, wait. Are you black? Are you black?
Okay. I have a problem with not allowing people to be individuals. I don't call women, even women who behave in a ratchet manner, that word. I usually use that word to refer to women who have a position of authority over which they exercise power over others in an arbitrary and capricious manner. I reserve that term for them, not ordinary women, because I do not regard these women that I characterize that way as being representative of black women, particularly our mothers and our sisters. I don't. I use that term to reserve a specific type of woman, white or black.
So now I'm going to say this again. My particular thing was not about black people or white people. This conversation that I heard start on this thing was a unity thing where we all could benefit. So when I'm talking about the word DI and the N-word, I am talking about overall. I am not talking about any particulars. I'm talking about Caucasian women who use the B word too. They use it too. There's Caucasian men that are transsexual and try to tell me I had to call them ma'am. And I'm not doing that either. So if you try to say somebody else, that's not about, I'm not speaking on a particular race or group. That would be beneath me to stoop to that level. And
Agreed.
I said I wasn't finished about the entire comment. I just want to start here because I always speak in economics. I'm speaking on the economic word and how we give each other value beyond the system. So in continuing, y'all started speaking about the school systems and how they're, especially in Chicago, they're defunct. Well, if we look at the early times, the 1920s and 30s, as people moved from the South to Chicago, we check out the feds, there was a thing called redlining in particular neighborhoods. And in those particular neighborhoods, this stuff still exists. It exists through zip codes now. And the zip codes who are still in those areas get lower education and lower everything. And the mill rates in all of those places are higher. And we can go to each one of them. You could go to each one of them and check it. And more than likely, they have a Democratic body sitting above them.
Yeah, now, they do have a Democratic body. Let me tell you something about that. Redlining is good. You know why? Because it tells you where not to buy a house. It tells you where not to send your kids to school. It tells you where not to drive your car and tells you where not to shop, and it tells you some other information that's very pertinent to your education. And you can't say that schools in black communities, you can't say that schools in those black areas are not just as good as any other school. I built 11 schools in the St. Louis Public School District, and I can tell you that the quality that was in the building of those schools was just as good as it was out in St. Louis County over in southern Illinois.
But the paper was just read on Chicago, and Chicago and Detroit are main cities that were redlined or had redlining in them. But I'm going to say this about the redlining. Since this is the good old America, what part of it ain't good? And how come it's not good? How did it get that way? This is America. We're supposed to be at the highest education, highest employment, the best standards of this, the best. How we end up inside of these areas? And so redlining was something that was used to say don't send money to them to repair.
Well, that's not true. That's not true. Now you're exaggerating.
Now you're telling me what you think or what the government papers say.
No, I'm telling you what it is. That's not. Well, let me ask you something. How is it that Nigerian kids have a higher economic achievement than any other immigrant group, than even above Asians and whites? They just as black as Isaac Hayes.
Okay, first of all, we're going to do something.
When I'm talking about first, second, and third generation that's born here.
Wait. Let's do something, because you like saying black. Let me tell you something. All right, so let me say something to you. There are no blacks or African Americans on this land. So you keep saying.
Oh, here we go with this stuff.
Yeah, dude. You want to keep saying. You're the one who want to keep saying it and pushing it out there. You just can't talk about our condition and people. You want to keep putting it off on a particular group.
Well, let's put it like this. When you read the data,
let's keep it the way
when you read the data, it's those the ones that I'm talking about. You can say that they originated wherever you want to, Mars or Venus, but they are the ones. And you know what? It's not the kids' fault. It is not the kids' fault.
People who talk like you sounds like the same people who, like, if I looked at a picture of a hanging person in a tree from the South, you look like.
We're talking about that stuff. We're talking about the academic achievements. We're talking about the academic achievements of a group, particular ethnic group in the United States that's gotten so poor that it has become a national security issue.
It's a fair thing. That's what I said. You want to keep putting in our economic group. But see, since I'm a person who talks to everybody, I tell you right now,
why don't we let Joe Gibson have his show back, and it's not an argument between you and me, okay?
Oh, no, you guys are doing fine. You guys are doing fine as long as you guys talk it out.
Let me interject something in here, Joe. Let me interject something in here. All right. I appreciate.
Shabaka's in the queue. All right, but go ahead, Sarge. Make your point. I'll bring Shabaka.
Okay, look. Let me interject something here. I appreciate Connecticut's point. Wait a minute. Okay, hold on. I appreciate your point in bringing up the history of redlining, and I do believe it is a useful indicator as to what's going on in certain neighborhoods. But be that as it may, I will acknowledge it had a tendency to lower housing value, which of course leads to a lower tax base for the school district. Now, I'm going to acknowledge that, your point on that, all right? So let's get that straight. We have a general agreement there. But this is where we're going to diverge. Let's Go Brandon Johnson is the mayor of the city of Chicago. Rather than him accepting the financial reality, however it came to be, is irrelevant. He's supposed to accept the financial reality and not take out a $300 million high-interest loan, which he's going to have to pay back $700 million to bail out a corrupt school system and the corrupt demands of the teachers' union demanding a raise in their pensions. Rather than going to help the students, he has a responsibility. Wait a minute, one more thing. He has a responsibility and an obligation to his duties as mayor to not be so fiscally responsible, no matter how the economic situation in Chicago came to be.
All in jail. Go ahead, Shabaka.
Okay. So,
greetings, you guys. Greetings.
Hang on, I got Shabaka on. Go ahead, Shabaka.
Okay, yeah, greetings, Joe. How you doing, Lucy Libertarian? And Sarge, always greetings. Guess what? I'm going to speak candidly, man. I see your show is up, Joe, but Blog Talk sabotaged mine tonight, and I had a prime guest on tonight. So I'm going to vent off a little bit of steam. Yeah, with your permission. First place, we need to sue these sons of bitches. You see what I'm saying? And I'm tired, like Sarge says, man, going back and forth in these goddamn kangaroo courts with this bullshit. You see what I mean? I had a top guest coming on there tonight, man, and I was about to bring y'all over because we was dealing with women's health issues and what have you. So out here on my end, man, I'm going to find an attorney, man, It's something because this is crazy. Okay, it's because they're picking and choosing, man, of who they want to let to come on the air. And I thought we had a fucking free speech or what have you. They just don't like what you're saying. I don't give a damn about this election. As far as I'm concerned, like Sarge says, with these kangaroo coats, all these motherfuckers belong in jail. And I don't mean to be cussing on your show, Joe.
I said that, Sabaka.
Yeah, because it's an infringement, man, of the and I see the cat ladies in the chat. Yeah, it's me, cat lady. They sabotaged my show, ma'am. You know what I'm saying? And you know that I could be
that
a
ain't
real
right.
cool, nice guy. Oh yeah, exactly. And we had a major great guest, you know, who is going to come on, you know what I'm saying? And I appreciate them taking the time, and they just called me and said, well, hey, man, you know, your shit's not working. You see what I mean? And
what
I
are they doing, Shabaka? They're picking now what shows to go live? What, are they picking a handful of shows to go live and then canning the rest?
Okay, now hold on, Joe. Okay, hold on, Joe. Now you're going to love this. And also, too, Sarge, I need your energy on this. Isn't this here an infringement on our First Amendment rights?
Well, it's called unjustly enriched because they're breaking the
depending
contract
upon the manner in which it is instituted, yeah, it could be. Depending on how this has come to be, it could be. Although it's just a private entity, unless you can show there's some government involvement in it, I don't know. Only thing I could see you got a case for is contract infringement because they're not providing the services you contracted with them for.
Unjustly enriched.
Okay, so I'm going to send them a four-letter word or a four-letter letter on that, if you know what I mean, man, because this is crazy. Hey, at least over the years, man, we from different backgrounds, at least we agree and play. You see what I'm saying? But what it is, man, I had a major guest to come on here. Huh?
I'd sue them under the RICO statutes, call them a criminal enterprise since they're going across state lines, you know?
Yeah, wait a minute, Joe, you own us something right there. Hold on, Joe. Yeah. No, you own us something right there.
Get in touch with Fannie Willis.
Okay, well, man, I wish I could get Fannie Willis to sue the shit out of Blog Talk for me. You know what I'm saying?
They're out of control.
Oh, no. I'll tell you who to get. You're going to love this one, Sarge. And I don't know if you're familiar with her, Joe Gibson, but I know Bianca is. If you're in the state of California, and if this woman ever comes after you with a criminal case, with a civil case, you do not argue with this woman. You go settle. Okay, it's because she is a straight castrator when it comes to men. The one and only Gloria Allred.
But she's sexual harassment, though, man. I don't know how you're going to make a case out of sexual harassment from Blog Talk.
Sarge, I just might be able to do so. You know why? Because the speaker that I was going to have on tonight, the guest, was a woman.
Well, that's
okay.
No, that ain't right.
Well, you know, novel legal theory seems to be flying these days, so go for it, brother.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? This is ridiculous. You see what I'm saying? And a man in my position cannot afford to look ridiculous. Doesn't that line sound familiar? Everybody's seen The Godfather, I'm sure.
Yeah. Well, you know, look, man, like I said,
we got
Chewbacca,
a gentleman from Connecticut, actually. Chat's asking who the gentleman was from Connecticut. So he's a gentleman from Connecticut. He's on.
Well, look, he got a strong case for contract infringement. I think you ought to go with that. They're not providing the services that you're paying for. That clearly is a case of contract infringement, and that's where you ought to go.
Well, sure.
Absolutely. I mean, man, hey, man, I thought you had the freedom of speech here in the good old US of A. Now, if they got your man out here going on with his well-cut suit, you know what I'm saying, man? There were some nice suits this dude wears, you know what I mean? And I see him up here. He's in Pennsylvania on your side of the world, Joe. He was out there in Reno a couple of days ago and whatnot. And he's got people up here dancing, although they don't have no rhythm. But that's a well-cut suit that, you know, that the dumpster got. You know what I'm saying?
The contract one, it would be Hadley versus Baxendale. That's 341, 1854. That would be the latest contract one you can use. Or unjustly enriched. Let's see here. You could use. Let's see. Violation of North Carolina. No, that's North Carolina Deceptive Trade Practices. Let me see. No. Marshall versus Miller. Marshall versus Miller for unjustly enriched. 1981.
Okay.
Use that.
Okay. Marshall versus Miller.
Look those cases up. Marshall versus Miller. Yeah.
Okay. What state is that? Or is that Fed court?
That's the Supreme Court.
Oh,
so you would use that one. Yeah, and then Hadley versus Baxendale. Baxendale. That's what I got anyway from when I was.
Spell that again, George. Hadley versus. Okay, Hadley versus what's his name?
Baxendale. B-A-X-Dale. Baxendale.
Okay, Baxendale.
I'll put it in the chat room.
Yeah, please.
B-A-X. I'll put it in the chat room because it's hard to make out letters when you're put it in the chat. I'll put the whole thing in the chat room.
Okay.
I mean, that's what you use, but that's if you're gonna. I mean, Blog Talk's dead wrong for doing what they're doing. That's for sure. I mean, they're really screwing people over. I mean, people are paying for these shows, and they're just, I mean, it's crazy.
You're getting screwed without the benefit of intercourse.
Yeah. It's bad. Listen, man. We've got to get people. Listen. All we're doing is complaining and talking. People have got to come together, and we've got to put a stop to this nonsense. I mean, I don't know how we could take back our country. I'm at a loss for words here mostly. But, at our local communities, we could do it. It don't take nothing to get 150 people together to go down to the city hall and start arresting people if we have to. I mean, what are they going to do? They're going to gun everybody down? I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Listen, we are supposed to have the law on our side.
Yeah, and then might have to walk the concrete for a couple of days, Joe, and then have to eat some of that garbage and smell shit and piss.
Ain't nobody going to jail. Ain't nobody going to jail. They take one, they got to take them all. That's how it's got to be.
Hey, you better check out the January 6th defendants, man. They got 800 of them still locked up for misdemeanors. I ain't never seen nothing like this.
Yeah, but they're scattered all around the country. They got them scattered all around the country, Sarge. They didn't arrest them that day, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's false imprisonment. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then the cold part about it is, man, we're getting our heads bumped. You know what I'm saying is, man, they screwed us without the benefit of intercourse, and we paying money to these jokers?
Look. They got it. They got it because they got them around the country, number one. Number two, the media has bought into it. They've sold it through the media that they weren't supposed to do what they did. And then supposedly the protest got hijacked and all that. Listen, but the day that it happened was the day that it should have happened, and it didn't. Let's just put it that way. And somebody trying to call me doing this show. Go ahead.
Well, Joe, as you know, me, you, Pianki, Sarge, one thing I will say about us, at least we disagree agreeably. You see what I'm saying? Is because I'm so frustrated, man. I got note up here, stack up on it, man. Shared it out there on social media, you know what I'm saying? And then they pull this crap. So now what you got to do is you got to inbox them because, one time we had this problem before. You got to inbox them to a damn robot. You see what I mean?
What's the unifying issue, Chewbacca, what's the unifying issue that can unite everybody across the country that we can all have a common belief or something to stand up for? I mean, if we all say, let's take on the government, then nobody's going to do that. Look, so, we have to have some sort of issue that everybody can have a common goal here where everybody's in on it, where everybody has something to benefit, where everyone has something to concern, where it concerns everybody. And I don't see that yet. I just don't see that issue happening yet. You got it broken up into sections and groups,
Okay, now, Joe, here is this. To quote the words of John F. Kennedy to Nikita Khrushchev, hey, man, you're not going to make a communist out of me, and I'm not going to make a capitalist out of you. Okay, now, not using communism, capitalism, but just taking that model. Okay, man, I'm what they would call a pro-black, okay? You see what I'm saying? Which is the common term.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? Okay, it's because,
Okay.
you know, you seen that tag, Joe. We deal with the black experience from the beginning of time to 10 minutes ago, and we're talking about some bullshit that happened, say, about 15 minutes ago, okay? You pay your money, Joe. You and I have had a knockdown, drag-outs. The referee man had to give us both standing 8 counts over the years. Poor Sarge. I think what they're going to do with you, Sarge, I think they're going to suspend your license indefinitely, man, under the Muhammad Ali Boxing Act, which is if you're suspended in one state, then they got to, all 50 other states have got to honor the suspension, Sarge. Because you're taking some blows, but however, though, Sarge, you are kind of like Joe Frazier in the Thriller in Manila. You know what I'm saying? I'll give you that.
Man, I come on your show, Shabaka. You guys give me about 2 seconds to talk, and I said I'm kicked off. I'm muted.
No, Joe. We although we're based here in Las Vegas and everybody's here, Frankie Cabonis, Nikki 2 times, and what have you. Hey, man, we do a fair show, you know, and everybody sees Goodfellas, right? And definitely, too, when we was speaking the other night, definitely see a movie called One-Eyed Jacks, you know, with Marlon Brando. Now, my question is,
that's what I heard.
Is it that every movie that Marlon Brando has played in, man, he always gets done in at the end? Why is that?
We divulge in from the question, and I would like to answer the question. And if I'm allowed to, I don't want to be interrupted.
Yeah, man, go ahead.
I would like to finish what I'm saying before I'm interrupted.
All right. Don't interrupt him, guys. Go ahead. He's going to answer it.
In the quick short, I think we all agree with uplifting fallen divine beings or uplifting fallen humanity, which is all of us. I think that we all agree that we could do it in love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And I think that none of us want to be the other one's slave. So we're not going to use any slave terms towards each other. And
well, that's why I don't go by a slave name, because a slave name is a slave
Hang on, let him
term.
finish, Shabaka. Shabaka, hang on, let him finish. He won't take too long. Go ahead.
These things are the beginning, because when we sit down and talk, no religion at the table. Number 2, when you come to the table, let the spirit of your religion exact in how you're going to talk about how we're going to heal ourselves or build a hospital, build an edification system, or anything else that we need. Let that be your religion, but do not bring your religion to the table. You're not here to teach religion. We're here to carry out, execute duties of existence amongst each other together. And so that's the first part of the foundation that I put publicly on the table. I yield.
There you go. Okay.
I know that voice.
Go ahead,
that's
guys.
El Yah. That's El Yah.
Whoever
Isn't
it is.
that you, El Yah? I
Yes,
think
it
it's
is.
El Yah. Yeah,
Yes, it
greetings to you, man. How you doing? I'm mad as hell, El Yah. You know what I'm saying? Really, I am.
I heard you.
And when I get my most silent, that's when I'm most mad.
I heard you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, look. Let's check this out. The bottom line is this: again, we can't get 10 people to meet at Burger King for a cup of coffee. 5 of us can't keep a secret. How the heck are we going to restore this country together and have one hand in unity? We've been on this program for years now with so many different voices that have talked about solutions or possible solutions, and none of us have followed through with any of them. And we've got to follow through with what we say. You know, when one of us goes down, all of us go down.
And that's only because every time we build something, grassroots or whatever, the first thing we do is turn to the people who are holding us down in order to get it done. Second, people are always seeking money in order to get something done. So if you're seeking money, you got to go ask. So therefore, you put all your program on the table to somebody else. Next thing you know, they stole it. They getting your money for the program, and then you're left with nothing. So
somebody said censorship in the chat room. I don't know what that means. But
we already know we're infiltrated. We already know we're infiltrated. We already know anything we say is being reported back. So then, therefore, the only thing that's left for us to do is be honest and true and do what's right. because doing what's right is going to be a lot of people going to be mad if we just do what's right.
What's right, hell yeah.
What is right?
Yes.
Now, in what is right, let's go back to the education system. Somebody just said it costs $30,000 per child to sit in school. Well, oops, it sounds like mommy want to stay home now, don't she? She got $30,000 coming, don't she? Because that's how much it costs to take care of a child. So our children going to be educated. Mommy can stay her butt in the house now and take care of the children like it's supposed to be. But we are.
There you go. She don't go to work no more.
Well, that's why they need the homeschooling.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
No, but see, Joe, that's the more reason for the homeschooling, because these damn public indoctrination centers, man, as you and I have discussed before, that we've been agreeing, rather if it's in the city of New York, rather if it's in the city of Chicago, rather if it's in the city of Oakland, rather if it's in the city of Los Angeles, okay, see, this is where the youth, okay, gets twisted. Particularly in the inner city. You see, this is where they learn this negative prepackaged
Sarge, what do you say about that,
bullshit.
Sarge or Pianki? What do you say about that?
Sergeant Major on deck.
Well, look, these matters. Look, these are public policy issues. They're not racial issues or anything else. They're public policy matters, and these public policy matters are shown to be deleterious, particularly to the education of our children. I mean, the numbers don't lie. We have numbers we can look at. 80% of Chicago public school students don't meet the basic requirements for reading and math and English. Now, what can you say about a school system that spends $30,000 a year per pupil and delivers results like that? Come on, this is a matter of public policy.
Because it's not education, Sarge, it's indoctrination, sir. There's a difference between education and indoctrination.
The executives are stealing the money all over the land. Every city that is democratic, that has these type of policies and nonprofits in place, those people who are running the organizations are stealing the money. From the top to the bottom, they're all stealing the money. That's all it's about to them is money. That's how we know they stealing it.
Okay, like Malcolm X says, surely the cops are in cahoots with the criminals. You're right.
Okay, right. But again, no. I look. I realize it's valuable to talk about these numbers because it is revelatory as to the ineptness and corruption in Chicago's public school system. Okay, fine. We got the numbers out there. But look, Marva Collins, a little red schoolhouse in Chicago, spent about $4,000 per pupil and had a 96% graduation rate, with 93% of those students going on to college, and she spent $4,000 per pupil a year. It isn't money. It isn't.
And that was Connecticut there that was speaking earlier. Anybody want to join in? Press 1. Anybody want to join in? I don't know. I can't see all the numbers that are on. Anybody press 1.
Just like you told me when I was on the road, man. You're coming from California to the great state of Nevada, man, when I had, Whiskey Pete's in my windshield, okay, and I was so glad to be up out of California. But what it is, though, man, this is why you need more emphasis on the STEM, the science, the technology, the engineering, and the mathematics. Those are universal laws and principles. Just like these dudes who go out there and beat up their old lady and doing domestic violence. Hey, man, you got some steam you want to blow off? Here's what you do. I've done it twice. Okay, go down the street, see the first bastard that's a man, and knock the shit out of a man, and it's on and clock it. And then you're relieved of the stress.
All right.
That is not on the way to the ER or the jail, you know.
Yeah, but together with the money, it also has to do with the kind of pedagogy that actually educates children. That's what they got all this core curriculum and this progressive new teaching method crap that doesn't work. It doesn't hold people to rigorous standards of academic discipline. The kind of thing that we know works. The kind of things that Marva Collins instituted in her schools that worked with the very same public student material that the Chicago public schools were failing with. Let's
Sarge,
stop pretending it's something other than what it is.
Hey, Sarge,
Sarge,
I had
you
Democrats
need to
tell me,
check out
hang
the
on,
Los
guys,
Angeles-
hang on.
All right, okay.
Hang on. I had guys, hang on. I had Democrats argue with me and say critical race theory is not being taught in any of the schools across this country.
Okay, Joe.
Is that
okay,
true?
That's what it would be. Okay.
I have an answer for that.
Can somebody? Okay, hold on. Can somebody help me? For I am ignorant. Okay, and the most stupidest question is the one that goes unasked. What is critical race theory?
Well, that's a good question.
I'm prepared to answer that question.
Yeah, go
Critical
ahead.
race theory is a legal theory that is mainly taught as a theory in colleges and universities. And its main tenets are that the constitutional and legal system of the United States is so inherently racist that to objectively apply the law to people, assuming you could objectively and perfectly apply the law to every individual in the system, would be in and of itself to maintain and extend white supremacy because of the United States racist history. Now, I've done a fairly extensive examination of critical race theory. I've read about 5 books on the subject, so I got a pretty damn good idea what it is as a legal theory. And you are correct. They are not teaching the legal theory in public and honest manner that they do almost every goddamn thing they do. What they're doing in a dishonest manner they do is to take elements of critical race theory. Hold on, Joe. They take elements of critical race theory, and they put those elements in the general teaching pedagogy to indoctrinate young minds. That the system is racist, the Constitution is racist, and nobody can get a fair break in the system.
Okay, now let me ask you this.
Chicago are tired of sitting in school and taking that kind of education.
Say what?
And children in Chicago are tired of sitting in school and taking that kind of education.
I hope so.
They're tired of being lied to. And one of the first lies, of course, that they're told is that this place was discovered in 1492.
Oh, now, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Now, come on. Now, let's not get in the weeds. Let's deal with the general educational issue. There are all kinds of things you can argue about what is being taught. You can argue about thousands of things. We're talking about the fact that the education system does not educate them to meet the minimal assessment standards that the state has established for the students. That's what I'd like to concentrate on.
Okay, I agree with you on that.
Designed to teach it.
Okay, but hold on, Sarge, to prove your point even further. There was 2 PhD candidates down there in Louisiana, I believe, okay? So they were homeschooling the youth. And I mean, man, they put shoestrings and bubble gum together to make it happen. And what had happened is that these children, when they went and took these state exams, you know what I'm saying, with its biased, prepackaged nonsense, they aced all of them. And what they do with them brothers, man, they shut them down. Why? Is because they were being taught the truth. Anytime that you speak against the popular version of what is truth, okay, then you become a threat, Sarge. You know that. You know that,
right,
Joe.
But back to the original question,
you know
guys.
that,
Again, okay, so you're saying the youth is the answer then. We don't have time for that, to go back and educate the youth. Our country's in peril now. We're already heading towards World War III. Our society is crumbling. We already know half the country's not going to be unhappy with the November 5th election. You have one half hating the other half. I mean, so no matter what side wins. So I asked you, Sarge, earlier about that. And you said, well, at least, the policies will be better and we'll have better economy and if Trump wins and, but the other half of the country's still going to be angry at the other half. How is that going to cure anything?
Well, that's going to be the way things are. Look, we're in a low-level state of war with half of our population. Is what it is. Somebody's going to prevail or will maintain the status quo. One side or the other is going to prevail or the status quo will be maintained. It's going to be one or the other, and I prefer that our point of view be the one that prevails. So, look, I'm going to acknowledge this tension in this low state of warfare between the opposing sides. And I say to you, I think one side is superior to the other, and that's where I'm going to stake my stand and put on my square. I'm not going to say they're both equivalent because I don't believe they are.
Well, what you're going to have is a great divide, which I welcome. Let that be let that be the result.
We're all
let
ready
there
for
be
it.
a divide. Let there be a divide. There's a divide amongst blacks, and there's a divide. Let there be a divide. I don't let my kids play with their kids. Just let it be a divide.
So
wow.
So
okay.
I need to know who I'm speaking to now. The guy that just spoke. Who is that?
That's Bianchi.
That's Bianchi.
Bianchi?
No, Bianchi as the Pharaoh. His name
Bianchi.
is Bianca. Yeah,
Pharaoh,
as the Pharaoh.
Pharaoh Bianchi. Okay, and so
yeah, and Bianchi and Shabaka were brothers. Believe it or not.
Okay, but wait, but I'm just asking. I just need to know, brother. Are you a Caucasian man?
No. He's a brother, man. He's a brother, and Bianchi's a big dude, man. You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
Bianchi's down for here.
Okay, I'm just asking because every time he speaks, I heard black. I didn't know where it was coming from. Now I understand better what I'm hearing.
He's out the STL. He's out the STL, and me and Bianchi got acquainted on the Dred Scott situation, you know, because Bianchi told me and he was right, and I give Bianchi his respect. Well, man, I'm from St. Louis, Dagnabbit, where Dred Scott went down like you out there in Oakland, man, where the Panthers went down. So I give Bianchi his respect on that. Now I'm going to sit here at my own lunch counter and bake. And now I'm going to sit here at a lunch counter and bake myself for a cup of coffee.
Okay, well, look here. Let me look. Look, I'm not going to even attempt to speak for Bianchi because he does a better job of doing it than I ever could. But I think I can speak for him and me with our viewpoint. We are simply saying, not that racism and white supremacy does not exist. We are saying it is not responsible for the abysmal condition of much of the black community in 2024. We're saying to the extent that it is, let me finish.
Yeah.
To the extent that it is relatively minor compared to innumerable other factors, and we would prefer that the black community concentrate on those factors rather than on the racism and Jim Crow of the 19th and early 20th centuries. That's what we're saying.
Except for the fact that they're trying to bring Jim Crow back down south in certain ways, for what you just said, I would say hallelujah. I'm on that page with you, but I go even deeper with it because there ain't no blacks and African Americans.
Okay, but here's the thing, though. All of the people who want codified racial discrimination in the law today, I'm not talking about in 1950 or 1963. I'm talking about today. The people who want to codify racial discrimination in law today are mainly black and minority people, not white people.
Oh, wait a minute.
Okay, what about spirituality though? Listen, I brought this up earlier, guys. What about the fact that they're suing the schools about bringing the 10 Commandments back? What's wrong with the 10 Commandments being in the school?
Man, Judge Roy Moore can go to hell with that, man, because there's supposed to be a separation of church and state.
You're wrong.
Okay, how am I wrong?
The state legislature in Louisiana passed a bill that allows the 10 Commandments to be displayed in schools and public places.
That sounds like the Supreme Court is going to get involved in that one if they decide to pick the case up.
And what's the definition? Sarge, you're my constitutional expert here. What's the definition? Church and state. What was the definition? It was to keep the state out of the church, not the church out of the state, right? Am I correct on that?
You can't have no state-sponsored religion. That's all it was.
Right. They said that the state-sponsored religion is unconstitutional. Again, the First Amendment says, respecting an establishment of a religion. There would be nothing wrong whatsoever with a curriculum that teaches the historical relationship of the 10 Commandments to the United States judicial system. That would be entirely appropriate and proper given the fact that the 10 Amendments is on the Supreme Court building. So how can you possibly exclude it from conversation in the school curriculum?
Common sense.
Logic does not occur to many of these fanatics whatsoever. They have an agenda,
No, it doesn't.
and they intend to accomplish it by any means necessary. They don't care about the truth. They don't care about history. They believe in the year zero. It's like Kamala Harris says. The only thing she says that's true. We must imagine what can be unburdened by what has been, because they want to wipe out history and want to replace it with a new year zero.
Okay,
well,
so in other words,
here's the thing with critical race theory. In most states, and I know Missouri and even Louisiana, has a state statute that your curriculum will be whatever you want it to be, as long as the children are able to perform at state minimum standards. Plus, when you talk about critical race theory, you got Asians and blacks that don't want that taught to their children. So they should be allowed to take their children and put them in an environment where that's not taught. Those that want it, go ahead on.
Well, funny you should say that, Bianchi. Now, here's something that's kind of interesting for you.
Guys, get ready to get closing thoughts here. Everybody, just let you know.
Okay.
So.
Okay, all right.
No,
okay.
go ahead, continue.
Okay, like off in China, man, you know, they teach their children the martial arts and stuff like that. There's not so much about breaking somebody's back, about breaking somebody's wrist or anything like that. It's avoid rather than check rather than hurt rather than maim rather than kill, for all life is precious. But what it is that a whole lot of these state school boards, every last one of them, man, need to be taken out, and like Al Pacino said, and injustice for all, and all of them needs to go right straight to friggin' jail. Charge fraud. Because I'm not going to sit up here and call no damn man a woman, you know, if he's up there shoving ketchup up his rectum talking about he's having a menstrual cycle. That, gentlemen, is an insult to our daughters. That is an insult to our mothers. That is an insult to our wives. It is an insult to the whole feminine side of the life spectrum. Grown-ass man, 5 o'clock shadow. Oh, man, I'm a woman. Man, I will break your back.
Well, look, you think you're going to get an argument from me on that? Like I said, transgenderism is an affront to logic, reason, rationality, and basic human nature itself, and it is a testament to the crazy people who want to turn a mental illness into a virtue. It is simple lunatic madness, insanity, and absolute corruption of the notion of ideas and reason itself.
Oh, you're right, Sarge. You see, that was one of the things we was going to talk about on my show tonight, is because I don't know if anybody's familiar with the straight Black Pride zone with Irritated Genie, man, when he was bringing out this information, these experimentation that they're doing with these frogs through these GMOs, modified organisms, and what have you, and trying to turn all the frogs into males.
Well, I mean, what you get for him? Look.
Yeah.
I was reading a story today. There was a story today about some transgendered boy on a school bus attacked another boy on a school bus, started biting his eyes out. It's just today. The rate of violence among transgendered people of all ages and both sexes is off the charts relative to the general population. They are mentally ill, and they are mentally ill on a spectrum. They're not always supremely violent, but at some level, whether it's a low level or a high level, they exhibit signs of mental illness by the very fact of being transgendered.
Okay, but Sarge, they may also have been the victims of some type of sexual abuse, too. That's my theory on it.
Which contributes to it.
Yeah, and that's what I was trying to pull up material about Dr. Frances Quest Welsing. You see what I'm saying? Because she wrote on that. They had planned all this crap, believe it or not, Sarge, because you and I, well, you're a little bit older than me, Sarge, but they had planned all that stuff during the regime of Tricky Dick. You see what I mean? Him and Kissinger had a plan on that. Dr. Welsing had did some research on that, and that was one of the things that we was going to talk about on my podcast tonight before it got sabotaged again, okay, with that, okay. There is nothing wrong with men liking women. There's nothing wrong with women liking men. You see what I'm saying? You know, when you see these jiggly wigglies and all this stuff bouncing in, you say, well, gee, man, that should be loose good. But a head walks by, the best thing I can say to him is, hey, homie, what's happening? And keep on moving. But as soon as you see one of them nice curves walk by, hey, lady, what's your name? Hey, let's sit down and have a drink. See, that's natural. You see what I'm saying? I mean, man, do you see?
Well, I had this conversation the other night with a friend of mine. Actually, listen, I had a conversation with my friend. I said, "What is lust?" Because you're not supposed to lust after another. If you're, especially if you're, they say it's wrong. But obviously, if you see a good-looking woman, you obviously, yeah, okay, there's a good-looking woman. Now today, though, they're teaching you, like you just said. Yeah, what are they teaching these kids? That are they teaching them the opposite? You're supposed to look at men? You're supposed to teach our boys and pants? I don't know.
Particularly here in the West, man, you'll get no arguments from me, man. Particularly here in the West, it's all twisted. And that's why that daggone Gavin Newsom belongs in jail. You know what I'm saying? He's sick. The whole state of California belongs in a mental institution. Oh, guess what? Yeah, they got the major mental institution in California. Yeah, it's called Napa. Napa State Hospital, up there by where all your Boone's Farm is, where all the winos go stand out there in front of the liquor store. Hey, man, I'm trying to get short, dog, homie, and then,
hey, guys,
and that's the great country. Yeah.
Hey, guys, let me bring something that's very pertinent to the election coming up, okay? That's why I like to bring this back to the election. And what we're talking about right now is very pertinent to the election coming up. This guy named Alex Roque. I don't know if it's Roque or Roque, spelled R-O-Q-U-E. He runs the Ali Fournier Center for Homeless LGBTQ Youth in New York City.
Oh, my
And he
God.
wrote a piece for the United States Department of Health and Human Services in a webinar last fall. Now, in a 3-minute presentation, he said that he thought the child protective systems nationwide should be transformed. He said in this presentation that for any family to reject a child's gender identity, a minor child's gender identity, cannot be dismissed as a personal view. He says that to non-affirm their selected gender identity must be treated as abuse. That is a quote from the guy. If they were denying them food or denying them access to school or denying other things, there would be headlines. There would be prosecution. Now, this guy has connections, Harris campaign, well, particularly Kamala Harris's campaign. He is an advisor on LGBTQIA activities. Now, think about it for a minute. We elect this woman. Do you think it is more likely we're going to get more of this from the federal government and attempt to sway states to this point of view, or do you think it'll be less likely? Which do you think it's going to be? Because I know what it's going to be.
Well, what's it going to be,
It's going to be worse.
That parents that don't go along with this stuff should be boisterous in their disapproval, and they should just come out flatly and say, I ain't going to do it.
But, Bianchi, we don't stick together as a people. None of us stick together at all. Look at we talked about my issue here in the beginning of the podcast here. Look, how many people would come to my aid if I was to have a standoff here or to stand up against the system here? Not many. I can assure you that. And even though I got, 3,500 people that supported me in my campaign, but big deal. Those are just votes. And Trump now, he can call a meeting or a rally, and he can get 100,000 people there. Those are the people that we need to be on our side and that we got to really stick together with. But how can we when Trump lives in another bubble. He lives in, he's not even part of our, he's not in our world. He doesn't know what it's like to get out and go to work and dig a hole or go out. Those billionaires and millionaires, they don't live in the same world we do. But again, how can we stick together in our local communities and organize? That's the question.
All right, well, here's a suggestion. Okay, well, first place, if I may say, Joe, the first thing, man, which you're going to have to develop is what they would call mutual respect, right? Okay. If I'm standing there with my black beret on and my leather piece, man, and you standing there, man, say with your stars and bars on, right? Okay. Yeah. You guys say on it that I saw, they say American by birth on it, and they say Southern by the grace of God. Okay. On a reverse scenario on that, we stayed African by birth, black by choice, if I got it right. See, this is what happens, man, when you get old. I got to go through all these notes and all this stuff. Right.
That's okay.
Okay, but the point is this, okay, is that a black man should not ever be ashamed to be a black man. Now, Joe, you and I are not going to go off into this conversation. Hold on, Joe. We're not going to go off into this conversation, Joe, because you got archives, I got archives, man. You know, we've had knockout drag downs behind it. You know, I'm a diasporic African. What that means is that my heritage comes off the continent of Alkebulan, or because Africanus is a Portuguese term, so the proper name would be Alkebulan, you see, and this is why
But
you would hear...
Kabaka, you say Africa first, right? You're saying Africa first, you're kind of first, but you go over there, your own people don't even want you over there. You're American.
Hold on,
you're American.
No, I'm a diasporic African, because if I was a goddamn American, I would not have to worry about each time I get behind the wheel of my car worrying about some race soldier who wants to blow my brains out.
For that. We understand that. Okay, I agree with you. You're absolutely right. You